Once every so often, a solitary young gun emerges, as fast to the trigger as any veteran, as cool and courageous as any old hand.
Thunderello leads them through a snappy quarter of 22 1/5 seconds. And it's Thunderello at 35-1, turning for home with the lead.
One of the fastest horses I ever rode.
Just an awesome animal.
Unbelievable speed.
Devastatingly fast.
Very, very fast.
A lot of class.
Very good looking, fast horse.
Thunderello, 1 furlong to go.
The young gun named Thunderello rose from the dust and heat of Florida, where the faster you run, the cooler you become. And in the spring of 2001, a chestnut 2-year-old named Thunderello blistered a breeze during the OBS Under Tack show and then stunned veterinarians who took a peek down his throat.
And I was absolutely amazed at the size of his throat and the quality of his throat. A couple of years prior to Thunderello, my crew and I were all excited about a horse going through OBS named Silver Charm that had the same presence and had the same type of throat.
They're in the gate.
Fast forward to September 2001.
And they're off. Thunderello breaks
Saratoga and Thunderello's second race.
as Thunderello rolls into the stretch.
My first impression of him was pure speed.
He could go 21 and change easier than any horse I've ever seen or had in my entire life, and could do it and continue to go on.
Thunderello charging into mid-stretch.
Thunderello, the young gun with speed to spare and a throat the size of Texas, blew away the field and his onlookers that September afternoon.
Migliore has already wrapped on Thunderello.
And when he came back and won his second race by 14 lengths and ran almost as fast as he did the first time, I just knew that this was a very, very special horse.
You know, the horse himself was just devastatingly impressive.
Migliore got off and, you know, he just, that Scott's like the fastest two-year-old I've ever sat on.
And we're back live at Arlington Park. The sprint is next.
A little more than a year later, it's October 2002, and the world's fastest horses assemble in Chicago for the Breeders' Cup Sprint.
#1 Thunderello. He's got sharp early speed.
The young gun was up against polished pros like Kona Gold, Swept Overboard, Extra Heat, and the favored freight train, Orientate.
There weren't really any horses that day doing well on the rail, which was the horrible place to be during Breeders' Cup.
They all kind of moaned when he drew the one hole, and I said he'll make the lead and he'll keep going.
And they're off deep.
He leaves the gate real fast.
Long shot, Thunderello down toward the inside.
He got pressure from everywhere. Made him run hard all the way to the stretch.
A wild first quarter of 21 2/5 seconds.
And he outran some of the fastest horses in the country, the fastest horses in the country.
It's Thunderello at 35-1, turning for home with the lead.
And I thought I was going to blow right by him.
And he's driving to Thunderello, who's holding on.
And Bailey's like starting to panic.
They're chasing Thunderello.
But he proved to be a tough customer that day.
The young gun had nowhere but on the rail to run. No choice but to start fast. No rest before Jerry Bailey and the freight train Orientate finally made their devastating run. And no quit in the final desperate moments before the wire.
But it shows a lot of heart, too. A lot of courage.
We call that class, and it matters.
He is faster and can carry speed farther and more intelligent than any horse I'd ever been around in my entire life. Just an awesome animal.
If you go back, a lot of the great Sires, a lot of them didn't start very many times. Mr. Prospector, Danzig, all showed freak speed. I think this horse fits that category.
Speed and impeccable breeding, and it begins with Buckpasser in the Sire line.
There have been 3 Buckpasser line Kentucky Derby winners. Of course, we've got Silver Charm from that line.
The great Buckpasser, Tom Fool, all the way back to the legendary War Admiral, descend through Thunderello's sire, Montbrook.
He's now one of the best young stallions in the country. He's not only the most expensive stallion in Florida, but he's one of the best young stallions in the country. He's got more than 20 stakes winners in the first 5 crops.
Montbrook has sired multiple Grade 1 performers, including Giant Gentleman, Out of the Box, Trust and Luck, and his fastest son, Thunderello.
Montbrook's an exceptional young sire. Yeah, one of the best handful of horses of his age in the country.
Both Montbrook and Thunderello have extraordinary balance and
a lot of bone and substance. They're just really extraordinary looking horses.
Thunderello's sire Montbrook also produced the $1.2 million sales topper sold to Demi O'Byrne in the OBS February sale of 2003. On Thunderello's dam side, more quality.
Thunderello is unusual in that he does have a very good family. He's actually half-brother to two other stakes winners, and his second dam, the second dam is half to the dam of Northsider, who's a champion filly. She's also half to the second dam of two other very important horses, Macho Uno, who's champion 2-year-old, and also Awesome Again, who won the Breeders' Cup Classic.
In reality, turn 2, Cox's Ridge, sires with classic distance abilities. And the total package is a great fit with the dominant lines of our times.
There's a lot of quality in this pedigree, which I say is unusual for perhaps some of these sprinters that come from a regional program. There's a lot more quality than one would expect in the family.
Well, this horse is just about, I mean, you just about reach into your hat to pull any kind of mare out to fit this horse.
He brings forth some fresh blood to cross on Mr. Prospector, the Northern Dancer.
But I certainly think he's one that I want to start with.
He should have very good-looking yearlings, which is very key in the commercial end of this game, and they should come to hand quickly.
And this horse has such a great attitude.
He was the best sprinter in the country. He was faster than any sprinter around.
Well, this horse has so much depth, and when you look at him, the longer you look at him, the more things you find that you like.
Thunderello, fast and furious, and waiting at Walnut.
I think this horse is a lot better than anybody knows. I'm going to breed to him.
Breeders' Cup Sprint. And they're off. Day Trader broke on top on the far outside. Orientate gets off to a good start, too. Extra Heat is right there. Long shot. Thunderello down toward the inside. And there's Carson Hollow. And Carson Hollow has come away to lead this speedy field with Thunderello right there with their Extra Heat is third. And Orientate gets a good spot early. He's running in fourth. Day Trader on the far outside fifth. Crafty CT is racing sixth. And then it's Touchstone between horses seventh. Pelucan Queen is eighth toward the inside. 3 lengths Disturbing the Peace under a ride is now ninth. Then Bonaparte. Kona Gold way near the back. He's 12 lengths from front running Thunderello. And swept overboard, has only one horse beaten, that is Long Shot, Wake and Noon. A wild first quarter of 21 2/5 seconds. And it's Thunderello at 35-1, turning for home with the lead. On the outside, here comes the favorite Orientate, and he's driving to Thunderello, who's holding on. Thunderello, 1 furlong to go. Still there, 3/4 of a length. Orientate, full out, driving second. Kona Gold, Crafty CT, they're chasing Thunderello. Orientate is surging here beneath Jerry Bailey. Here's the wire. Orientate wins in the final strides to defeat Thunderello. And they're off. Thunderello breaks in stride. Forever Ember got off to a very awkward break, and the lags well behind the field as Thunderello takes the field up the backstretch with Wild Blue in pursuit. And Timeless by third, 7 lengths back. And Dance Note is a distant fourth. Jorge Chavez trying to get Dance Note in it. And after that very ungainly start, Forever Amber trails the field. Thunderello leads them through a snappy quarter of 22 1/5 seconds. And Wild Blue is now 2.5 lengths behind as Thunderello rolls into the stretch with an expanding lead. Timeless By is second on the inside, 5 lengths back to the other two, Dance Note and Forever Ember. Thunderello charging into mid-stretch with a 7-length lead. And Timeless By is now moved into second. Dance Note trying to come on now to capture a runner-up spot, but they're coming down inside the final 16th. Richard Migliore has already wrapped on Thunderello, and they cruise